A quick announcement for if you want to take your trading to the next level. I recently started a profitable trading signal group in which I show you and I send signals of all of my trades. If you want to join this group or if you're interested in that, go check out the first link down in the description or in the pinned comment.
Good morning everybody, welcome back to Cilinix Crypto and welcome to this new video and update on Blur. There are quite some interesting things going on with the price of Blur, that's why I wanted to cover it, but I also just wanted to update it. I know that a lot of you are still trading Blur ever since its launch last week. It's still, it's still technically very, or at least pretty bullish right now. But yeah, I think the most likely scenario still is that it's going to fall, but that's actually not perhaps a bad thing. So we'll talk about a lot of things regarding that. Blur in itself, the NFT platform, is still doing amazing. As I've heard, at least, I think the volume right now is still, we could look that up very briefly, but I think the volume compared to OpenSea is still actually more. Users past week is also, Blur obviously already existed as an NFT marketplace, but it's doing amazing. The volume past week is almost $500 million, which is not nothing. Trade count is higher, but apart from that, you can, it's honestly, personally, I didn't notice. I didn't know that Blur already had higher volume than OpenSea during some weeks in December, for example. But right now, you can see that the last week has been phenomenal in volume, and the daily users are growing as well. So it's becoming a very big platform, and therefore you could argue that the market cap is still fairly low for Blur, which is an interesting thing to take into account. But if we take a look at the technicals, what you can see right now is I think the technicals are very interesting, but that might be me. What you can see right now is that we're forming this triangle right here, which actually could lead to very good things and could lead to very bad things, right? Because we hit 1.35, 1.4 as a resistance. Since then, there's been quite a lot of bearish momentum, and sure, this is bullish momentum, but altogether, I'd say the bearish momentum right now is a little bit stronger. In the end, we're going to find out though. We're going to stay in this triangle, and I think the most likely scenario is, after hitting a major resistance level, that will drop down to 1.15, take a break retest, and drop down to 1.1 and 1.05. I think that's, and then from there, there's actually an opportunity to start rallying again. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, I think this is the most likely scenario. There's been quite a lot of bearish momentum. We already had some bearish confirmations, for example, by dropping down below the 236 fib. And actually staying below that. Apart from that, I also don't think we're finding that much. You can see that we, on the very short time frames, if we zoom in, you can see that we found resistance at 1.25. So altogether, there's just not a lot of support, and this trend line is holding fairly well, I'd say, or it's going to hold fairly well. And sure, this ascending trend line is holding as well. But there's something with fifth touches which we're nearing with trend lines, and that usually they do not hold that. So altogether, I still think that's the most likely scenario, that will drop down. Now, if for some reason we're able to break above 1.28, 1.3 from here, then I was wrong, and we get a bullish breakout. And I'd say there's pretty big chance that we'll move all the way to 1.5, our next price target after 1.4, 1.35. So that's possible, definitely. I just don't think it's the most likely scenario. Now, what's interesting though is that this might actually not be a bad thing. If we grab some Elliott wave theory material, which I'm trying to implement into the analysis, what you'll be able to see is that we've had our first impulse wave right here. Perhaps a correction, which was actually to the 618 fib of this entire move. Now the third wave, and perhaps this is just what we need to do for that fourth wave, drop down to the 1.05, 1.1 level, which also has the 1.618 fib. And then from there, we can get that last wave, wave number 5, up to 1.5. So something like this could very well be forming if we drop down to 1.1, 1.05. So perhaps it's not even a bad thing to get some bearish momentum right now if we can exchange that with a new local top and all-time high a little bit later. But I'll keep you updated on that, of course. For now, this has been my my Blur analysis and Blur update. If you have any questions, let me know. And it's pretty ironic that my camera is getting blurred all the time while I talk about Blur. But all right, have a great day, take care, and bye.